Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, all you people across the world, and welcome to another edition of Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York. We find ourselves slightly off the sept of the green. Not too far, in fact, not that far at all for some of you who know the local geography, but still technically, possibly, a tad bit off sept. A group of four is headed towards a familiar location, and that location is the Maid Cafe, the infamous Maid Cafe, hosted by and hostessed by a large number of kinfolk. In fact, the establishment's run by a guru. Whether or not she's it kind of depends on the hour and what's going on in her day, but the business is certainly operational. Olaf has been talked into allowing the Cubs to have a slight day out amidst all the stresses and changes and strange goings on. And fortunately for him, considering the people that he has in tow, Michael's been talked into it too, probably just to follow along and laugh at Olaf's obvious consternation. They approach the entrance, the sign lit up, the open sign on the door still open, and walk in. Sure, this is a place run by kin, but there are a few normal people milling around. They're not that interested in milling around or even being near the greeting booth once Olaf rolls in. And he finds himself in front of one of the quote-unquote maids. Hey, table for four in the back, some extra space if you would.
Yes, master.
What?
Olaf chokes slightly. Just please, never call me that again. I'm not mad. Just don't do it.
Okay, sir.
Alright.
Chottle. The maid skirt goes ahead and swishes and flashes. Chottle.
What is this place?
Maeve is now staring devotedly at her feet. Her hair is down in front of her face, and her scarf is up over her nose, and my, what nice shoes she picked out today.
It's an establishment run by, how to say, a relative of the people.
Okay, I understand that.
It serves food.
That's good enough for me.
And for me as well. As they follow along.
Oh yeah, they'll definitely take you in the back, and in fact, a few of the other maids have congregated over there. Some are smoking. They quickly put it out. Wrap it into a napkin, put it in her pocket. She gets slapped for like, dude, you got caught. They look at you.
Olaf waves his hand dismissively and sticks a cigarette in his mouth. If you got an ashtray, it'd be nice.
The one that was smoking produces an ashtray.
Well, thank you. Don't worry about us. We don't mind.
The one that brought you over goes ahead and again smacks the smoker. Give them some space. Make the back room empty. And they're going to go ahead and proceed to make sure that the congregated Garu have as much privacy as they need.
Well, Maeve is now far beyond scandalized. She is appalled, and she's going to take a seat at the table and continue staring through the table at her feet.
Once Olaf gets seated, he plucks up a menu, orders. We're not going to abuse Lucas's coffers too badly. Just 2 or 3 of the most meat-oriented things on the menu, and a coffee, black, thank you. And only when he's done ordering does he light up his unfiltered, excessively powerful cigarette.
You'll notice that the air conditioning goes ahead and gets cranked up a few notches, just to filter out that smoke.
Much obliged.
Lucas goes ahead and ribs Maeve sitting next to her. Come on, order something. Anything. It's all on me.
Oh, look, a menu that she can stare at that's also on the table so she doesn't have to look up. How delightful. She'll probably get fairly classic diner food. Get a burger, fries. If they have milkshakes, no, it doesn't need to have Bailey's in it.
Novel. Maid goes ahead and takes your order. Scribble, scribble. You'll notice that actually along her left arm, there's actually a really, really fucking brilliant tattoo that she sort of notices and slides back down her arm. It was a smoker.
It was a what?
It was the smoker who,
Oh.
gave you the ashtray, turned on the air conditioning. She understands, how a smoking establishment should be run. Oh, Lucas here is going to go ahead and order biscuits and gravy, waffles, eggs, scrambled, sausage, bacon. He's pretty damn excited. He's like, food, food.
Mikhail's is going to order a black coffee and there's a regular old cheeseburger.
Yeah, wonderful. The maid's going to go ahead and take all y'all's orders, rip off the ticket, go ahead and stick the ticket, stick the yellow sheet she rips off onto a sticker in the back, points to your table, marks it as 12, and goes back to pretty much do hostess duties back up front.
Sometimes it's alright to talk shop back here as long as you don't go yelling it to the world. And hooray, in this fine city, one place that allows you to smoke takes a drag and it just billows out of his nostrils. So, you all seemed rather eager. I'm listening.
I just wanted some food, actually. Like, looking back over hungrily.
Maeve will just kind of twiddle her fingers and shrug. Just really wanted some time away from the sept. I'm not gonna lie.
I can understand that.
And I might have seen Chases today.
Oh, really?
And Travis was there.
Well, quite interesting. How did that go for you?
It went pretty good. I got to listen. I got to ask the things I wanted. Chases was really happy with me, actually, and it felt pretty good.
Olaf smiles. It's not as pronounced as perhaps he's smiled in happier times, but at least it feels genuine. I see you itching for that peony. It's genuine. I'm gonna give you this. And just kind of keeps smoking a cigarette. He's not too aggressive about it. Make sure to keep the ash in the ashtray. She was kind enough to provide the proper accoutrements.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll go on for a little bit about how she's told them before about how she feels there should be a position in the Guru for the kinfolk who don't have representation or who need someone to go to if they feel mistreated or afraid of their kin or whatever have you. And that Chases met that idea with not only interest and promises to take it to the other elders, but also with a smile and seemed to be truly pleased with her for thinking of such a thing, much less wanting to do it.
Good idea indeed.
And she'll nod enthusiastically. We talked about all sorts of positions.
Well, what did you learn then?
We talked about Keeper of the Land and how that position is now empty. And we talked about parents and how many there should be and etc. And, I might have mentioned you.
And at that, you've piqued Olaf's interest. I mean, you had his curiosity, but now you have his attention.
Hmm.
Did you know?
Well, I mean, think about it. You've probably the only person who spent more time with me than Lucas is you. Or pardon, you're the only one who spent more time with me than pardon. Lucas is the only person who has spent more time with me than you have.
There
And
you
when I
go.
first
That's the
came here,
sentence.
you were the one. When I first came here, you were the one who looked after me the most. And even with Katori as den father, you have still persisted in checking in on me and making sure that I'm doing as I should do.
Well, making sure that you do as you should do is a little bit a part of my job. It's just something I do, really.
Well, yeah, but you actually give a shit, to put it really bluntly.
Poke, poke, poke. Really, really rare in these times and days. People who give a shit.
Yeah, pretty much. I
I
mean, you don't just check up on me because it should be done. You seem to actually care whether or not I'm doing well or if something has gone awry. And if it has, you actually do something to fix it.
Mabe, you are by blood and under the true spirit a sister, as are all of the people, sisters and brothers to me. It is as it should be. I can't say one thing and claim to believe one thing and not put it into practice. What I've shown for you, I would show for any in your position.
Well, that's kind of my point. And she'll rib Lucas a little bit and be like, I mean, really?
Oh, we're gonna start a poke war, are we?
She gives him a little rib to kind of nudge him to join in on this, to totally back her up.
Look, Olaf, you're a good sword. I mean, when I didn't know who the hell to teach a litany to, you're the first person I went to. Because I trust you. And you got a way about you. Never felt that you ever gave me a wrong turn. Never really felt that you were not looking out for my best interest. I could totally see you as a very, very fatherly figure. In fact, he goes ahead and produces a notebook with a sketch in it. You're very prominent. It has the exact portrait in it, but like grandfathered and sort of very rural and very, very authoritarian and fatherly. See? I could totally see it.
Maeve is smiling.
I'm touched, I really am. Remember, that position is filled, and not only is it is filled by one who I respect deeply. I would not move to supplant such a honorable and wise one of the people.
Let me throw you this one, Olaf. What if, well, our dear Din Daddy finds himself wanting a different position and moving up in the ranks, as it were? He's been in the sept for a little bit longer than you.
This is true, and I imagine there will be quite a bit of hubbub as there are when these kind of changes occur. It just hadn't occurred to me. You're becoming rather acquainted with the ranks of our people. I am, how you say, still quite low on the totem pole. I do what I can, when I can, as I can, really. And it's not something that had crossed my mind.
Does it
Well,
matter what rank you are when it comes to teaching? If you're good at teaching and you're good at caring for those who come fresh to this place, isn't that what's important?
It's an important skill, yes, and it is of great importance in the station you're speaking of, but there are traditions that must be upheld, and being of an appropriate rank happens to be one of them.
She sticks her tongue out.
I'm a soldier, Mib. I know I carry myself a certain way, and I do what I feel is right, but I'm still a soldier.
Well, if you were the proper rank, then.
That has yet to be seen. I don't count ducks before I have them.
Well, have an imagination with me for a second here. Come on.
Ah, the compassion is touching. Really, I mean it. It's just not something I've thought of. If in the future this becomes a thing, something I'd have to pay mind to, just as all would have to pay mind to it. And glances at Mikhail. What do you make of this?
I think out of all of us, you carried the most clouds. I really can't see anyone saying no.
Perhaps.
I'm sure they'll put you through some certain test, but I really don't see you
And
failing.
I appreciate your confidence, but there is one hole here. Looks back at the two. I have yet to prove myself as a leader. I know it doesn't look like it, but I actually haven't been of the people proper for very long at all.
She shrugs. It was just a thought.
It is. It is. I'll have to meditate on it.
Just gonna go ahead and plant that little seed in your head and see if it grows.
At the very least, it's a topic worth speaking to Katori about. But I don't see him vacating that duty for quite some time, and as I said, I am no supplanter. He does a fine job, and I respect him for it.
Nods, but she's still smiling all the same.
You have to understand, there's much that each of us needs to learn. And that takes time. Learning's a long process. In fact, it's lifelong. The only differentiation over time is how much you've learned. It never changes how much you need to learn. There's always a sea of knowledge that you need to learn. But how much you accrue, that can change with time and effort. What's in my head right here? Taps his temple. Less than a drop in an ocean. Some would call me wise for recognizing it, but I merely call things as I see them.
Well, if you have less than a drop, I must have less than a speck.
Flattering, yes, but you've learned so much already. Glances at Lucas. And you I expect much learning from.
I've already done a few things. I mean, I spoke with, what's his name? Screw it. Katori. He taught me a few things. How different forms take. What the Mother's Rage is all about. And, well, just sort of putting me in a few different directions. I asked him who I wanted to be. He asked me who I wanted to be taught from, and your name came up.
Ha!
Olaf quirks a brow.
You know more about this war than anybody else that I've seen.
About this war in particular, I've been at it for a while. My knowledge still pales in comparison to his.
No, no, no. I mean on the streets, my good sir. On the streets. You and Garrett both impress me very, very much. Did you know how it is out there? Points outside.
If I were to be entirely honest, to know the streets of my home, I knew them quite well. I have yet to truly capture the pulse of this place. It's entirely different. We are, after all, half a country away from my home.
Just know it's something to take away with you. And I do hope that you're willing to teach. I do hope that you're not going to go ahead and throw my ass out.
Firm nod.
If you know anything about me, it isn't that I am not one to refuse a duty, especially one passed down by my alpha. I'll teach, and you'll learn what I have to give you, but that will be no excuse for you to cease seeking knowledge from him. Even I go to him.
And I've gone to many people.
What I
Doesn't
wish
mean
to,
Yeah, go ahead.
what I wish to know from him, from Katori, more properly, is how to just not piss off the other world, the shadow world. Don't want to piss it off. I like it. I've walked in it, seen its residents.
He's a good man to learn that from. But I suppose I have a lesson to impart.
Mhm.
When you speak to spirits, when you truck with them and make deals, there are times where the going will be difficult. You'll think it, depending on what you've bargained, is more than you can bear, but bear it you must. For going back on such a thing or offending them carries a high price. Our very standing amongst the people depends on their favor. I
All right.
offended a totemic spirit. I once fought under the banner of Lady Lightning. I left that pack, and I left suddenly. I knew already what I had done and had to go to her to make amends. Paying that price, healing that relationship, nearly cost me my life. I found myself the soldier, the judge, proud member of the nation, bleeding out on a hill, knowing that if I survived, I would still have work ahead of me. I did my work. I balanced my book. I paid my price. Because no matter what, it always has to be paid. You should keep that in mind every time you deal with a spirit. We rely on them in ways beyond even my true knowledge. I'm no theurge. But I know we rely on them. I have experienced their benefits more than once, and many times without their boons, I would have fallen. You should always take care to make sure that you are right with the spirits. Always.
The other head nods. It seems as if the coffee is starting to actually get to Lucas. A little bit more jittery, energetic.
See if I can peony this. Dice Stream, you're my friend.
It's back.
3 successes.
Okay. 3 successes. Well, you see Lucas. He's twitching, turting. As I said, the coffee's like getting to him, and he's like really, really anxious to get his food. He seems to have, well, energy, but energy for what? Just apparently to have these people around him, and apparently to be out at the fucking set. That's what you notice right off the bat.
Olaf eyes Lucas, starts picking up the signs of just various tells. When Lucas sees Olaf looking at him, he can finally see from an up-close perspective with no actual stressors around him where his eyes are scanning, what he's looking for, in a sense. He's watching the lie detector at work. He's up on the coffee, starting to get to you.
Okay. About this time, the maid's gonna go ahead and start to walk by. Lucas again still looks at Olaf. You mentioned something else about how these streets were different from the streets you came from. Can you explain that, if you're willing? Burger, place in front of you. Burger,
Yeah.
place in front of Maeve. Coffee to Mikkel. A big smorgasbord of breakfast food in front of Lucas.
Yeah, Olaf and his like 3 entree meat tornado are with each other now.
Yay!
When the maid leaves, he starts eating, but he's taking time. He's not completely devouring it, which is what would happen if it had his sole attention. He's working right now. You have to understand that where I lived, there was a combination of things, different behaviors of police, different movements. It wasn't a built-up area, not in the way that this place is. There was a place a ways away called Duluth. Now, that was a more built-up area. Still nothing near this place. Still a lot of wild lands and forests to roam through. Not that I went often. I was next to a forest of my own. But the police have different patterns. The criminal elements have different patterns, things they look for, things they go for, different businesses to be peddled. Some the same as here, others different. It's a different rhythm, a different set of people, a different culture. You come to a place like this, completely different, even though some things are the same. I found myself in one land wise and in another the fool.
I'll go ahead and take that with a bag of chips.
Such is the fate of a traveler. You see, where some happen to become what they were meant to be here, and some were born here, I was sent here. I was sent here not through some fault of my own, but because they needed me here. I imagine some sort of favor was exchanged, but I don't know the details. I was simply told that I had to come here to replace combat losses. Maybe some people forget because they've been here so long, and maybe some people don't know, but as far as many outside of this place are concerned, this place is the front line for an entire coast. And front lines claim bodies. The specific phrase, replace combat losses. People had fallen in battle faster than it could be replaced. So I was sent from my home, and all I knew, and brought here. I'd like to pretend that I've learned much sense, but I still know that deep down, nothing in comparison to those native-born, very little in comparison to those that came before me. Now, when it comes to matters of your moon, your birthright, not much I can teach you. Even in my own home culture, my own wing of the family, what you do feels a very specific niche, and that's not necessarily the totality of what you need to do here. You're better off learning from one such as Garrett. But about being a soldier, that I've known my entire life, even before I was as I am. If I can teach you one thing, aside from how to properly conduct yourself, at least in my sense of it, I can teach you the ways of war. Make sure you live on to fulfill your purpose.
I'll definitely accept that.
That's good, because although these 5 a.m. training sessions that were once the order of the day seem to have hit a bit of a stuttering point, they won't for you and me.
Maeve
my
starts
friend,
chuckling.
you have new anatomy that you're going to have to learn to use in quick order. Not even just in direct fighting, but you'll have to learn how to truly wear the wolf shirt in ways aside from, what is that game you all play? Tag?
It's a fun game. I'd like playing tag. Looks to Maeve. Isn't it a fun game?
She sighs and just rolls her eyes in his direction. It's no fun when I never get to tag you.
But you can't blame me. Just because I'm faster. Much faster now in 4 legs than I was in 2.
Well,
Hope you run fast, Olaf.
oh, I won't have to. He'll have to come back sooner or later.
But will you see me come back?
Perhaps, perhaps not. But here's the thing, young man. You have something you want, and I have it. You'll have to reveal yourself sooner or later.
I'll definitely go ahead and accept that wisdom. But you gotta sleep sometime.
Oh
I
my.
do.
Oh, Olaf, I really don't want to play this game with you right now.
This was a bad choice that you made.
Well, then don't.
Alright.
Just act as a student.
I'll learn
Now,
more. Well, apparently there's somebody who's been tagging me quite recently. I believe his name is Logan. Met him once. Seems interested.
Logan, good man. Very honored, very respected. Frankly, if you hear his voice, whether it be in the darkness or the clearer day, and you don't see him, don't bother looking. He'll show when he wants to. Now, what else can I teach you? Well, you've already received a lesson on the litany. We can go into that in more detail. But you'll learn of other things, ways to conduct yourself at specific occasions, ways to manage your new relationship with others of the people of certain ranks. You might have had a sense of positions and how these relationships work. You're going to gain a deeper sense of that. And while I don't imagine it being true issue, I can tell you that you may have to afford yourself certain adjustments when it comes to dealing with those of higher station.
Have I not always been as dutifully etiquette and respectful towards my allies when I was not of the people?
You have, but now you've entered a different set of rules of etiquette. There will be different things expected of you, different responses, different approaches. It is such for all the people. For kin, there are certain ways and certain exceptions. But for you, my good sir, there are no more exceptions. You have to know the proper way, or you will be held to account quite quickly. I've only had teeth clamped about my throat once, but it was not a pleasant experience. Another thing that I don't imagine will be an issue is, well, the rage. My people pride themselves on their control over their rage. As my student, you will come to have this pride once it's been properly taught to you. But I see a steel in you already. Don't imagine this will be hard clay to mold.
And into the maid cafe or wherever this is, in walks Garrett.
You're actually stopped before you can actually walk into the back where everybody else is. This is the Maid Cafe. You are stopped with a very rough-looking girl, young woman actually. He goes ahead and puts a hand to your chest before you can actually walk in towards the back. Because, well, I'll give it to you. Instructions to go towards the back. You are?
Wait, what?
Say what?
Huh?
What?
Uh,
Oh,
he
for
didn't
the love of
understand it, bro.
Pete, let him back here.
Bitches, what?
What?
Bit of confusion going on between the maid and the Garrett, because the maid's never seen this person. Goes ahead and, takes her hand out of the way, and
Let's-
gestures. Welcome, master.
Thank you. I just need to find my people.
Oh yeah, and they're in the back.
Garrett will head to the back after a very confusing encounter.
Gestures for Garrett to pull up a chair. All of them have food in front of them and coffee. Olaf is the recipient of a meat tornado that he's tearing into quite nicely. The others have burgers of various varieties.
Maybe it's more placidly going about her kind of cliche diner meal, burger, fries, milkshake, and just listening. Though she will, poke up and smile and wave to Garrett as he gets into the back room.
You notice that Lucas is very, very attentive to dear Olaf when he speaks. Or at least was speaking.
Garrett will pull up the chair and sit down, adjust his coat. Can I smoke in here?
You see Olaf smoking like a fucking chimney, and a
Okay.
little ashtray there. In the ashtray, amongst the ashes, is a slogan, a motto, a quote, "Life is a beach."
Wonderful.
Olaf actually hands out one of his cigarettes. It has no filter. It smells quite rich.
Some nice thick tobacco.
Well, Garrett will take out one of his less rich, much less expensive cigarettes from the pack in his coat
Paul Malls.
and light them up. Newports.
Eh, Suit yourself. Chains that one off the last one. Now, case in point here. In matters of your moon, I'd look to this guy. And he nods his head towards Garrett.
I am an open book.
I looks over at Garrett. Oh, don't tell me you're an open book. Oh, I can see through it, my good dark-fellowed friend.
Then look through it.
This should be interesting.
Don't make idle threats now, Lucas.
Oh my god, I've been playing this game all night with this man. Pointing over to Olaf, sort of gesturing. In fact, the only fun game I've had is poking this one. Poke, pokes the Maeve, pokes the Maeve.
Squeaks, pats at his hands.
Takes a fry, hovers it over his own mouth.
Scandalized.
Olaf.
Yeah, getting closer, and smashes into your face, right into your open mouth.
Oh, for the love of... Enough.
Garrett
Yes,
kind of motions in Olaf to lean into him,
He does.
and he doesn't whisper. He doesn't alter his voice at all. Everyone can still hear him, and he looks directly at Lucas and says, "Is it just me, or has he gotten much more annoying since the change?"
Your moon, my friend. Your moon.
I don't remember it hitting me like this.
Maybe you're just not as fun as he is.
Maybe.
You notice that in front of Lucas, while everybody else might have a fuller cup of coffee, his is right at the bottom.
All right, you need a refill, and I need my first one. How do I get it?
Wave the one with the tattoos over.
And Gary looks around, notices the one with the tattoos, gives a little wolf whistle, which I can't do. Motions the maid over.
Yeah, she'll definitely come over.
He points at Lucas's empty mug. Refill, new one here, and points at his own spot.
Looks over to Olaf and just goes ahead and shakes her head. Yes, sir. Because apparently we're not doing the whole yes, master thing right now. She'll dutifully go ahead and take that up. Bring back a mug of coffee. Well, one of those bronze, big ass thermos of coffee. Go ahead and lay down a mug in front of you. Pour it up to the top. Does the same with Lucas, and she just goes ahead and leaves that big old bronze
Leaves the
thermos on
ground.
the table. Yep.
All right, now before we continue this lovely discussion, where the hell are we?
Oh, Garrett, let me tell you a story. When I first came here, I was quite concerned. You see, there's a young lady here who still carries the child, actually, of a member of my wing of the family who has since departed.
Uh-huh.
As you may know, or have guessed, this place is run by our dear cousins amongst Callie's wing of the family, and is namely owned and operated by a fully fledged member. Rarely seen, but of position and rank.
Good to know.
One of the first things I had to do was negotiate terms. You see, we both sides quite protective of those related to us, quite interested in how we influence their lives. So talk was had and a bargain was struck.
It's like the anime Accords or something.
They call it, what do they call it? They call it a maid cafe. Apparently that's the theme. They dress like people's ideas of maids, and the occasional waiter of some regard. Butler, I think they call it. Doesn't matter. Either way, they work here, they're paid, and there are times when people want to eat and talk, so we get this room when we ask for it politely.
Good to know. I bet people don't come looking here, so that's good to know too.
Those who have been here for a time know of it. I simply stumbled on it by happenstance.
All right, fair enough. Carry on. I just
Quirks a
needed
brow.
that info.
Now, young Lucas, apparently the den father has delegated parts of his teaching to me, the only blind spot I can see myself having, other than a lack of his years in wisdom, of course. He is one of many great deeds, much wisdom, is, well, the particularities of his birthright. You may want to speak with Logan, provided that you can find him.
I haven't seen him outside of that Guardian meeting.
And that is
Never
typically
see
the
him.
way he likes it. Ask around for long enough, send the right messages, and believe me, he will find you.
Usually how they work.
Half expecting him to just pop out, probably in my bathroom, and tell me to get dressed, we got work to do. An unexpected adventure.
If I were you, I'd always expect that to happen.
Just from my brief experience with him. He's got a lot of flair to him.
Yeah, the
Did the
man,
fog thing with me.
the man
what thing?
accomplishes many things.
The what thing?
The fog thing. You made fog appear, and I got trapped in it, and I ran,
Blink, blink.
and then he found me again.
Hmm.
And then I went
Interesting.
ahead and, oh, yes. We played a game. I had to find him, or at least point out where he was. I watched. I waited until just the right branches and just the right leaves and just right underbrush were displaced. Pointed, wasn't there. But the game ended.
Well, here's how we're gonna run things down. In the mornings, I'll see what I can do about my own situation. As you know, I'm quite pressed. You and I are going to find out just how much you know about hand-to-hand combat.
hmm
While you're recovering, we'll speak on matters of etiquette and what's expected of you now that you're of the people. And once you are ready to roll, we'll start teaching you how to best handle yourself in the various forms. Obviously, there are some constraints, but I believe we'll be able to work around them.
Up front, there actually is a ring as two officers actually walk in. They don't do anything. They look at each other. They complain about what a heavy shift they're doing now that they're a part of the Central Park Police fucking unit. They're escorted towards another part of the entire maid cafe. You hear them, yes, master, yes, master, yes, master, as they're directed far fucking away.
Oh, Olaf, for his part, snuffs out his cigarette. Even with the air conditioning going, they are there.
Yep. Well, looks at Garrett, shifts the ashtray over for him.
Thank you. What can I do for you?
Cops, man.
I
Smoking's
know.
not good.
What? Oh, goddamn that ordinance.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fuck those assholes.
Could you kindly?
He puts it out briskly and takes the ashtray and puts it under the table.
Awesome. Lucas is like trying to blow out the smoke that's left.
Goddamn. Who was it? Was it Bloomberg?
Oh no, new mayor thinks that police action is certainly required. I heard that there was like 100 cops to the unit, and like 20 from every other precinct. Jesus Christ.
It doesn't sit too well with me.
What are we gonna
No
do?
one's happy about it.
I still want to know what happened to the two fine officers from that night.
Blink?
Yeah, I'm a little interested in that too.
What do you mean?
As am I.
They apparently vanished, the news said.
Huh.
Along with the car.
Really?
That is suspicious.
Indeed.
Has anyone asked whatever spirits might have been around there? It was next to the reservoir. There's certainly a water spirit, maybe?
That would be your job, Maeve.
It should be like Kachina or Katori or Chases or anyone that wasn't a puppy. But
Looks
okay,
at you.
I'm
Well,
doing it now.
Oh, no. Take these words with you. If you see an issue, you got three options. One, you can do something about it. Two, you can pay somebody else off to do it. Or three, you just gotta shut your mouth.
Oh no, now it's happening.
Now
But
you're doing it. You taking option one?
well, I didn't even know until now. I told you
Oh.
I don't read the
The
news.
level of your voices.
Thank you, Olaf.
Hmm.
I intended
Shuts his
to.
mouth tightly.
I intended to go check out the scene. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
I'm going to put it this way. We're all pretty up against it here.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's going to have to go down there, but it's going to have to be somebody who either doesn't stick out or somebody nobody's seen, at least not officially.
Are they still investigating it, or is it just an open piece of the park again?
Oh, no, they're still investigating.
They are swarming everywhere.
Well,
It
I
makes
mean, in
walking
general,
around in the park a nightmare.
Pretty much.
during the day, it's still open. There are still people that come through the park. They're not going to think anything of that. It's just, is that place...
It's still an open fucking carnival.
Hmm.
But is that place roped off?
I do believe so.
Considering that it's the scene of a crime, yes.
I guess it doesn't matter. I'll just take the other road.
Definitely.
Indeed. Now, appropriate personnel will be contacted. Believe me. But at the time, we are all stretched thin with big things, and I imagine people above us are scrambling as well. I'm not telling you to sit on your thumbs indefinitely, but I am telling you to give those above us a minute. Act independently too many times, you will get special attention. You do not want special attention.
That is correct.
So far, I've gotten nothing but rewarded as long as I did something and was careful and made sure that it wasn't just being stupid. As long as I do this right, this is still on our grounds, and I should still be perfectly safe on the other side. I'll just go over and see if I can ask them. If they won't talk to me, there's nothing I can do about that. But I can try. And if I'm easily able to get an answer, it helps.
Mabe. Go on, Garrett.
Well, maybe you'll say it.
Mabe, you have been pushing a beginner's luck as far as it can get. Many, many times I've heard tales that could have ended in your death. It's time to start leaning on your brothers and sisters. No one of us walks alone for long, no matter what the drive, sense of purpose, or clarity.
Well, that's very sound advice, Olaf. And Maeve's heard it from me several times before. But what I was going to say, step sideways.
That's what I meant.
Okay.
That's what I was going to do.
Okay.
And then just walk over there that way. As long as I'm on the sept, most of the things there are benevolent or willing to ignore me. I should be able to just walk over, and if the water is willing to talk to me, I can talk to it. If it's not, I'm not going to harass it. If it's not, well, Chases has already said that the next time that I and Katori have a lesson, he wants Katori to teach me about spirits anyways. I will just ask them if we can do it there.
She's scheming.
My advice on the matter concerning Katori, someone who is quite dear to me and my first line superior, is that you be upfront with him immediately. He can't help you if he doesn't know what you need help with.
Oh no, I'm always honest with Katori. It's just that Katori's exhausted. He's the only one who can do the right that's helping the kinfolk. And I can help a little, but I can't do it for him. So he's been probably doing that non-stop. That's why I haven't bothered for lessons, and that's why I went to Chase's today for a lesson. As long as I can get the information readily, it wouldn't even be his problem. If I can't get it readily, I will tell him what I'm trying to do and tell him that Chase's wants to watch. And we'll go over there and do it anyways.
No matter what you do, take someone with you. It is already glaringly apparent that besides us and the police, there is at least one party interested in that place. Police cruisers don't disappear out of nowhere. Cops don't disappear out of nowhere.
She will nod, and she actually takes up a very serious expression. You can tell that she's listening and she understands.
So, what do you think? Any pet theories about the cops?
Could be a number of things. Could
Might
be
have-
one of our more traditional foes. Could be some strange third party. I mean, hell, it could be leeches for all I know.
Here's the not Leech's style. The troubling aspect of this is that they were there right after we were, meaning we were being observed.
You know, you say that, but somebody decided to pop off a fucking gun in the middle of a park.
Yes. And when we weren't being spied, we made too much noise.
Mm, that's true. That's true.
Well,
Still though,
I mean, isn't there a pet theory that part of this whole thing is the Spirals using this to test our boundaries and to test our defenses and to see how we react when something attacks us up?
yeah, it doesn't do them any good to take out the cops.
Yep. They live by the same rules that we do. Just distorted.
If they can take people and twist them and change them, wouldn't it be useful to have cops?
Missing
Look.
cops will always ask too many questions.
Here's the deal.
She shrugs.
You've seen what the enemy looks like. Seen it nice and close now. Did any of those things occur to you as what you'd call reasoning, high thinking?
Well, no, but I don't know what they can do to people. Maybe they can make them do things. I mean,
Mhm.
the two that I've seen so far acted like normal people, and I imagine that if they can make one of us fall and do what they want, there's no reason they can't take people and make them have the same goals, right? I mean,
It's really
it
the
makes
squad
sense.
car that bothers me. I don't know why they took the squad car too.
Wait. Looks at Eric.
Because
Looks at
you're
Garrett.
writing a-
No. Looks at Garrett. And second question you need to ask yourself. If the squad car was actually missing and never made it back to the precinct, how did those videos get on the news?
Blink, blink.
That is true.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
my first thought was they had some kind of streaming going on, like it automatically sends a signal back to the precinct or something.
That's what I was led to believe.
That's what I could assume. Honestly, I've never heard of a camera like that streaming in that way. I've been in the back of more than my fair share of squad cars.
That was just the first thing that came to my mind, but
Well, I mean, and think about it. If one of you two, and she looks at Lucas and looks at Garrett, had a squad car, think of what you could do with it. That doesn't sound like a not useful thing to have, especially if you're a bad guy.
Olaf glances at Mikhail. What do you think of all this?
I think, and this is just a hypothesis, but I think I actually wouldn't be surprised if it was someone within our own set who decided to step in and clean up matters.
Hmm.
The car was.
And that's what
wrecked.
no, it doesn't make sense. Dead cops bring too many more cops.
We don't know they're dead. We just know they're missing.
Missing whatever. It's this same difference. We got 100 cops here. If those 2 cops are still there, not missing or whatever, you're looking half. They're in anthill.
Somebody wants us tied up.
Well, between the sickness and the cops and the results of the sickness potentially showing up and attacking, we're pretty distracted.
But if I was looking for a missing car, I would start looking at the chop shops around town. Because that car was pretty much totaled after Callie kicked it.
Mm-hmm.
So driving it isn't really an option.
You know that form leaves marks.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some hair, blood.
Crushed fender, engine block.
Not the smartest move, but yes.
Not to mention whatever happened after I told her to smash the friggin' hard drive.
Claw marks.
Heavy,
Easily.
Well, we ripped it out, so
heavy footstep from the other side of the restaurant.
Hold on.
Clunk, clunk. You hear the police officers again look at the maid. One makes a very, very snarky remark about her appearance. The maid clenches her fist, but doesn't raise them, puts on a fake fucking smile, and says, "Come again, master." And the 2 officers will proceed to leave the establishment. The tattoo girl goes ahead and rushes over to the front door, goes ahead and flips the open sign to close sign, takes a few steps back, and gives them the motherfucking finger.
Olaf actually gets up and heads over to her. Hey, you alright?
Goes ahead and looks to you. It's nothing that, you don't hear every so often.
Doesn't
It's
make it any less bullshit. You okay?
I'm fine. It's just, I don't like cops, especially don't like fucking pigs. Everybody else, I hear it all the time. Doesn't worry me. It's those fucking pigs. The cops. I don't like them. I wish they stopped coming around. This is really fucking with me. I'm sorry, sir. I really am sorry, sir.
Hey, I asked the question. It's alright.
Sort of breathes to herself. It's gonna go ahead and roll up her sleeves, show the tattoos again quite prominently, and simply says, "I got to clean this place up. Feel free to take your time with your dishes, and you need something else, don't hesitate to call out. We usually keep the cooker running for 30 extra minutes."
Alright, well, tell you what. Actually, kind of like, he pulls out an old receipt and a pen that's half dead and writes his phone number on it. Things get rough around here, or, you just need somebody to come over, make sure things are right, or even somebody to talk to. You know how to find me, okay?
Okay.
Hands it
What's
over.
your name?
Olaf.
He'll go ahead and take it and ask you, what's your name?
Olaf Tryggvason.
Yeah, Lucy, right. Thanks.
No problem.
Puts in the little front pocket of the costume.
He actually reaches out to shake her hand.
She'll take it.
Pleased to meet you, and now that I think about it, digs around, gets his wallet, and takes out a couple 20s. You done good. Appreciate it.
Oh, her smile goes from ear to ear. She goes ahead and brightens up. Oh! I can finally get. And she's gonna go ahead and show you a bit of unmarked skin art that's not really colored in. It's of it's a mirror actually. It says, "I can finally get this colored in. Thanks, man."
No problem. Like I said, took real good care of us coming in this late. I appreciate it.
Beams a smile. Uh, go on back. I got to clean up. She goes ahead and takes a towel from that front apron pocket. Yeah, that's what I call it, apron pocket, and goes back to wiping down tables.
Olaf heads back to the table, takes a real quick scan of just how done people might be in terms of their meals.
Lucas is pretty done.
Maeve's getting there.
Garrett's coffee's about half empty.
How Mikhail doing?
Well, coffee's gone.
Hey, they gotta clean up. Pretty sure she can't leave till we do.
Heart of fucking gold you got, Olaf. He says with a smile.
Olaf kind of gives one of those fuck you grimace smirks. I mean, it's not like super negative or anything, but just like, eh.
Points. See, decent guy. Eh?
We'll see what you think about that after our first lesson.
Please, not the face, not my beautiful face.
You hear?
Don't wear the glasses.
Okay, I get it. Fine.
No, unfortunate for you, Lucas.
I know. How will I ever survive this long? Actually, I'm going to go ahead and stop that for right now.
I never had to officially get my ass beat by a Philodox wannabe Arun.
Get a fingers on my ass.
I'm pretty.
It'll be a fun learning experience for everyone.
Well, that's the thing, Mikhail. Every Get a Fenris is a wannabe Arun, except for the Aruns, they're actual Aruns.
Yeah, under normal circumstances, this could lead to a rage roll, but given that Garrett is a ragabash and Olaf has probably heard this shit on the order of 12,000 times.
It's all in good jest.
Oh,
Indeed.
1 second.
Now, like I was saying, girls gotta clean up. We should probably head along in a bit.
Sure.
Alrighty. Garrett kind of chugs the remaining half of the coffee, slams the mug back down, throws his hands up. I'm ready.
Well, I can see at least two people that might appreciate company on the walk home, and three of us that live elsewhere. Let's drop you two off first.
Okay. Maeve
Did you
will snag a couple more fries, throw them in her face, and wrap up the remains of her burger in a napkin and just take it along. She can eat on the walk.
Lucas, for his part, is done. The sound of a fork and knife go ahead and clink onto the plate. Shifts it away, gets out of the booth, gestures for the good lady to follow behind him.
And she will do so.
Hey, Lucas, where are you living right now?
Let's see. Actually, sort of relegated to a few different places. Treehouse or the City Den. Tried to talk Din Daddy into letting me sleep at the place of learning. I'm using his terms, excuse me. But he said that during the crisis with the fish and everything else, wasn't advisable.
I myself live in a treehouse, so. Hello, roommate.
Yay! Fights the urge to give you a hug. fights it.
Lucas gets a clap on the shoulder.
Your own personal alarm clock.
Oh,
Oh
great.
yes, and I like to get up quite early. Now, let's us away.
Yep.
Hey, Mikhail. He kind of steps aside, pulls Mikhail to the side.
Yep, he'll follow.
So I was hanging around them chessboards recently.
Where are you now?
Yeah, I heard I need to speak to someone there. I hadn't been able to find him yet, but there's been some buzz.
What kind of rumors?
Just apparently the storm crows are acting kind of weird.
Oh, you know how Thunder's brood gets. Maybe they witnessed something that he feels worthy to know.
Maybe so.
Who are you looking for?
Oh, Lucas was running his mouth about some chess master asshole. Said I should probably talk to him. Figure what the hey.
Is he referring to the one of our tribe?
Yeah, apparently he's kidding.
Zachariah Ellison, I believe his name is.
Ah, don't recall the name, to be honest.
I have heard his name, and I have heard he is quite skilled at the art of playing the game.
Ellison sounds too easy to pronounce. It was some kind of hard to pronounce name. He said you got to get it right. So I was just going to start spouting off names until someone corrected me.
Start tossing them out.
But anyway, I was just curious if you knew anything. You've been here a little bit longer than me, so.
The only thing I could tell you is just maybe watch the news, and he'll give you a wink.
Roger, Roger. And with that, Garrett concludes his business and we'll head on out.
And Mikhail falls right after.
This merry band heads onwards into the long, dark night, something that, given their lifestyles, they're all quite accustomed with. Does anybody else have anything they want to accomplish in this scene?
Let's see.
I'd like to thank Jesus.
Lucas, I assume that people are going to go ahead and part ways with Lucas walking, or at least not walking directly into the park, at least sidestepping, right?
Oh yeah, it's this whole rigmarole now where they got to sidestep and then they got to get to his house and then sidestep again. It is difficult, but doable.
All right. Which direction is Maeve heading in? I assume with the Garrett?
Well, the whole party has to drop off Maeve and Garrett since she needs at least 2 Guru with her at any time.
I don't know. The Shadow Lords could totally walk her home.
So Olaf's going to be accompanying on that journey, and Lucas will have to follow.
I'll ruin our fun.
There's this young woman being shadowed by 4 strange men.
If we do sidestep, then we're in the Weaver territory, and Lucas will go ahead and make mention, and you got to go ahead and follow all the signs. All the signs, and you got to go ahead and walk in a straight line. Otherwise, they tend to notice you.
Oh, I know. I've been through this turf before.
Maeve may actually head towards the Sept because shenanigans. So, in the name of making this open to the next potential scene, I'm gonna say that she asked to crash over at the tree houses, or better yet, ask them to take her to the castle since she has some early business tomorrow or whatever.
Garrett's about to be on duty, so he has to go back to the set.
Yeah. Well, at that point, yeah, Olaf's probably about to be on duty too, frankly. Um,
So take the kids back to the sept. Hold mommy's hand and look both ways.
yeah, she'll definitely be dropped off at the Fianna Castle, and the appropriate people will be notified.
Yep.
Bring the scene to a close.
Yep.
All right, I got this. Watchers, thank you for watching. Players, thank you for playing. And we'll see you next time on another edition of Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York.